Welcome to the Alan Berry Reports TV show. I'm Alan Berry Laboucan. I'm the editor of the Alan Berry Reports and the host of this show. Thank you very much for joining us today. In the first 9 shows on our that we've had here on our YouTube channel, that's youtube.com/Alan Berry Reports. The first 9 shows were we dealt with sort of some of the commodities that we follow, why we follow them, what are the fundamental reasons of why we're bullish on those commodities, and we follow, and then we also talked about what the commodities that we follow tell us about the economy, the global economy, what we can learn from these, and you can find those all on the channel. Now, in the last 3 shows, we've been talking more about specific companies, what they're doing, why we follow them, what we're looking for them in the future. And those 3 companies were all involved in the gold exploration or development of gold projects. And this show, we're going to talk about a silver company. We follow silver, copper, gold, oil and gas, diamonds, nickel, mainly because you can go back on our past shows and you'll understand. We'll talk about that. It's mainly because they have good, solid supply and demand fundamentals. And as I mentioned, silver is one of the commodities that we follow. We have about 6 companies that we have in our report that are involved in silver, and the company we're going to talk about today is called Bear Creek Mining. Now, Bear Creek Mining actually has been a company we first started covering in our very first email newsletter. We've been putting out our email newsletter for about 5 years now, and during that time, in our very first edition, we had Bear Creek Mining in the report. Now, at that time, the main reasons that we were following Bear Creek was due to the team that was involved with the company. The main person, one of the key people at the company is a lady named Catherine McLeod Seltzer. And Catherine was involved with a company, one of the big successes in the 1990s in the gold mining business was a company called Arequipa. It was a company that she ran, and Arequipa made a very impressive discovery of gold down in Peru, and at the time they were one of these companies that was well under $1, and then they made this impressive discovery, and ultimately they were bought out by Barrick Gold for over $30 per share. So they were a phenomenal performer, and then a number of years later, she did it again with another company. This time it was a company that was involved with copper, a company called Peru Copper. This is another of the companies from our past reports that we had featured in the report. We got involved with Peru Copper very early, and they found a big deposit, and ultimately they were bought out by Chinalco. So she has a real good track record of this, taking small companies and having them find something serious, and ultimately those are attractive enough to major mining companies that they want to take them over. And at the same time that she was working on her Peru Copper, they also were involved with Bear Creek Mining. And so that was sort of one of the key reasons. But we always caution that, when it comes to mining exploration and development, what really comes out of the end of the drill rig is most important, because if it's not there, no matter how good the people are, they can't make it appear. And so but in the case of Bear Creek, they had found, when we first started covering them, they had found quite an impressive silver discovery called Corani down in Peru. And they had been busy drilling away on that project, and then they started to get a lot of traction, a lot of interest. We had started following them quite early. I think they were originally around $2.50 or something like that per share, and then the silver price went up quite a bit. This was well before the sort of economic calamity of 2008 there, and so they were performing very well. In fact, they had got over $10 per share, and then they made another discovery down there called Santa Ana. That also is a silver discovery, and so they have these two really good discoveries. Things were going very strongly with the resource sector and the commodity stocks, and the stock was performing very well. Then we came into the economic calamity, and practically every stock, it didn't matter what industry you're involved with, got hammered. They got hammered as well. But the reason that we didn't sort of abandon the company, or we stuck with them as one of our featured companies, was because even though the stock, they make up moves, they make down moves, at the end of the day, the silver hadn't gone anywhere. And that's really what we're all about, is trying to find companies that have important discoveries, and then, stick with them until they, do something substantial with the discovery. And so, we try to find a lot of silver projects because we're very bullish on the price of silver. In fact, I think that the fundamentals of silver are stronger than the fundamentals of gold. This doesn't mean that I'm not bullish on gold, because I am bullish on gold, but the silver fundamentals are even stronger. And so, in a market where precious metals are going up, I think that, which I think we're in, and we're going to keep seeing that, I think that the potential for silver to outperform is very good. Now, recently I was on Business News Network, that's bnn.ca up here in Canada, and they usually, when I'm on, they ask me for some picks. And I picked, this was about 10 days ago or so, I picked Bear Creek Mining because I think that it can outperform a lot of other companies. One, because you have the potential for success with their drilling and advancing of their projects. And then two, there's not a lot of good high-quality silver companies out there, so they're kind of in a small niche, if you will. And so you got potential to see positive movement, growth in the company from not just positive price swings in silver, but then also fundamental developments. And that's, in a nutshell, why I like the company. We're going to include below the screen there a link to their website, so you can go and do your homework, and I think you'll see why we like them. That's a wrap on today's commentary. Before closing, I'd like to stress that this show is for information purposes only. We aren't making buying or selling recommendations. It's important for you to do your own research and consult with your investment advisors before making any investment decisions. We're always trying to grow the audience, and again, you'll see some links that help you share how to find our report, and we'd really appreciate if you could send that on to your friends that follow the markets. We know that everybody's busy these days, and we try to provide a show that saves you time and brings you helpful, high-quality information. As always, we hope you can join us for future shows. You can visit us on our website at allenberryreports.com, or feel free to tell your friends about our show, which is at youtube.com/allenberryreports. Have a great day.